Now, I ain't saying she no gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke Antro Pro. Listen, y'all, we got to discuss the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8, Episode 559, Fool's Gold. So we're going to get into it and my thoughts about this episode. And I feel like you guys may be pleasantly surprised with what I might be giving this episode on the scale of 1 to 10. I want to know what you would rate this episode on the scale of 1 to 10 right now. But first things first, before we get into that, we got a sponsor for today's video. So listen, we love our sponsors here on the channel. They really do help the platform. So make sure y'all get into this right now.
All right, y'all. Cold turkey may be good on sandwiches, but baby, let me tell you something. When it comes to breaking bad habits, it ain't always the best look. So that's where today's sponsor comes in, and that is Fume. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that helps you take the bad out of your habit. So instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all natural, delicious flavors. So you get it instead of bad. Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. So let's get into this taste right now, right? Y'all, y'all, it's minty. Head to tryfume.com/DJRichieSkye or scan the QR code and use code DJRichieSkye to get 10% off when you get your journey pack today. So listen, that's tryfum.com and use my code DJRichieSkye and get 10% off your journey pack order today.
Woo! Listen, y'all. Get into that. Okay, get into that. So let's rate this episode on the scale of 1 to 10, and I am actually going to give this episode an 8. I'm going to give this episode an 8 because I actually feel like we've been addressing some of these issues for the past couple of weeks on this show, but today is probably one of the days where I feel like we really touch on the actual issue, and we also get some hypocritical behavior. You guys let me know in the chatterization what you guys think about it. I mean, some of y'all gonna say you just don't like Gizelle, and that's really not true. I don't really dislike anybody. Like, that's just not my style. Now, if I call out repeated patterns of behavior, don't be mad about it because that's what I'm seeing, right? So anyway, let's get into this episode. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Let me know what you guys would rate it. I did feel like there were some sprinkles of like what I used to love about Potomac here in this episode. But for the most part, I feel like we still are in the division of the groups. And to actually illustrate that point, we start things off with the Fox Force 4. And in case you don't realize what that is, that's basically my term for like Team Gizelle and Robin. So that would be Gizelle, Robin, Mia, Ashley, and we're going to include NECA in that maybe later on. We'll have to see how it turns out to really see if she's indoctrinated into the Fox Force. Fox Force is basically a term used to describe the ladies of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That was Kyle, that was Dorit, that was Lisa Rinna, that was Teddy Mellencamp, and there was Erica Jane, because they always stood 10 toes down for each other despite being wrong or whatnot, making the show very uninteresting, because what they were also doing was also covering for each other and not allowing real storytelling to be told, because they were always, from the audience perspective, hiding what felt like the truth from the audience and gaslighting us. And we knew certain things were happening, but they weren't willing to discuss them. So that's why, they ended up calling themselves the Fox Force 5, but it came to take on a different meaning. And that to me is essentially what we're getting here in this episode, or in at least in this season. And it's so funny to me, this whole idea that Gizelle is going to be calling out Karen for Karen not taking up for her and her daughter, when no one was talking about or referencing Giselle's daughter. But let's get into it. We start the conversation off, or the episode off, with Wendy basically approaching the Fox 4 as they are talking about how Wendy and Candace were rolling their eyes and smacking their gums and clapping their butt cheeks when Gizelle was talking about Grace going to college. I said it last week, and I just felt like it was really a non-starter, because I did feel like them girls just don't like Gizelle the same way she don't like them. So she talking and they making faces, and it is what it is. Now, granted, of course, I could see how it could be a little offensive because she's talking about her daughter at the time, but I really don't feel like it had anything to do with Grace. And I just kind of feel like it is what it is at this point. The women don't like each other, and it's well known. And so Gizelle, as Wendy, is like, what's up? What's going on? Everybody is on mute. Okay. Everybody on mute. And Gizelle is like, well, we'll talk about it later. And I'm like, nah, B, let's talk about it now. Let's talk about it now. Okay. Because now is when it's happening. And Wendy is like, no, let's talk about it now. What's up? What's up? What it is, though? What's up? And so Robin lets them know why she's annoyed and what happened and what she noticed, them making faces, smacking their lips, popping their gums, and clapping their butt cheeks. And so Wendy's like, I'm not even going to speak on Grace, because the last time we had a conversation about her at the reunion, you basically weaponized Grace against me by saying that I was making stank faces at your child when I was not. Okay. And the camera didn't even show her making stank faces at her daughter. So Karen is like, well, they all be making faces, funky faces at different times, basically calling it like she see it. And Candace says, well, when they laugh at something, it's fine, as you guys will see later. Okay. When Robin attempts to dissect why Karen is using this particular guy to as her trainer, when he's technically not a trainer per se. And Gizelle is cackling like a cackling hen. It's so funny to me that Gizelle feels like Karen does not have her back when Gizelle never has Karen's. It's just like the moment that each of them turn their backs on each other, they both be talking about each other. So I think turnabout is fair play in this situation, and that is what it is. So anyway, Gizelle is annoyed, like I said, that Karen isn't sticking up for her daughter. And Candace is like, I just don't like Gizelle. And basically, Ashley is like, well, why were you chuckling in? Again, Fox 4 behavior. Okay. Fox 4 behavior. Candace says, well, it was not about Giselle's daughter. Period. Robin announces that they are having a Havana Nights dinner. All right. Because we get a flashback of Ashley preparing to have one, but it was also at the time when there was, like, I guess a lot of the smoke from the wildfires was coming down from the Canada or whatnot. And so she had to cancel it. So when everybody comes down for dinner, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I thought Gizelle looked bomb in that gold dress until she turned around. I ain't like the back of that dress. Something about the back of that dress was like, what? Whoa, what is that? What are we doing here? You know, I don't know. It was just weird. But the front was given. It was perfect. It was gold. It was shimmery. It really did look good on her. I really have to say that. I also loved Wendy's outfit, but Ashley comes out, sun's out, buns out. Okay, them booty cheeks and clappers was pounding the pavement. Okay, Candace did call her a $2 hoe. Um. mm, oh, you know, Robin announces that oh no, Karen then brings up the elefante in the room, which is basically Robin and Candace, and can they get back to making progression? Robin feels like Candace doesn't think she did anything wrong, and she also feels like Candace slandered her multiple times, lied on her, and she basically said it was defamation. Now, Robin feels that she said repeatedly that she did not think Chris had anything to do or had bad intentions. But I guess what Robin is failing to miss is her ultimate change in demeanor at the reunion when she then said that a married man should not be in another woman's hotel room or whatever for any reason. I guess she's forgetting that she also changed that tune. So anyway, I mean, it is what it is. And now she regrets defending Chris in the first place. And my thought was, you defending Chris, you are thinking that that is the reason why Candace feels that there was a plot to bring the storyline to the forefront. You think that this is the reason why Candace had so much smoke for you after the reunion and after you came out with the stuff about Juan, because it was you, my dear. It was you in the library with the candlestick. That is a Clue reference for those of you guys who do not know your classic cinema. Okay. It was Robin. You did this. Again, I've said it all season. Robin didn't have to acknowledge any of that. She chose to. Literally, even though her husband asked her not to. Anyway, Ashley, well, Candace calls Robin a perpetual victim. And I do feel like Robin is making herself a victim in this situation. I mean, while I do feel like Robin, really her focus should be, you went off on me on social media when I came out with the stuff about Juan. Even though I kind of changed up on you at the reunion, that still hurt my feelings. That's what she should just say and leave it at that. Ashley asked if Candace still believes the things that she said about literally Robin having something to do with the storyline about Chris coming out, right? And Candace is like, I don't know, but it doesn't matter anymore. And Robin is saying that Candace weaponized Twitter, and Candace is open to moving on. Now, when these ladies talk about weaponizing Twitter, I guess what they should probably announce to the audience is that they themselves have decided not to go on Twitter and, talk about the episodes. I think that's the general consensus from what I'm gathering. And they are maybe feeling like Candace is doing the exact opposite of what they have all maybe silently chosen to do. But it has been long a factor that many times before in the past, Twitter was one of the main sources of how the ladies would respond to the episode. It used to be that the ladies did Bravo blogs. Then it was that, the written blogs, which I miss. And then apparently at some point in time, people started saying that they were getting other people to write them for them. Then it came to a point where, they were doing the after shows, but they don't even do after shows for Potomac at this point. So how else are the ladies supposed to get their point across about the episode? Or are they even supposed to live tweet at this point? Or is there an agreement that they won't? I guess I just don't know what the state of that is at this very moment, because I just kind of feel like the line does continue to move, and I guess I don't know what they've decided. Anyway, Gizelle then brings Ashley a sparkler that falls over, and Ashley reflects on 8 years of birthdays that she shared with the women. And was it just me, or did this feel more like a little bit of it's either a new beginning for Ashley or it's an ending. Now, coupled with the message that we talked about in yesterday's video, for which Ashley was basically sort of saying how hard of a time the reunion was and how hard of a season it was. And again, even in those moments, it just kind of felt like an ending. And to be honest with you, like, I don't really know. Like, I mean, it'll be interesting to watch and see what happens with Ashley as of next season. Again, she can't really talk about Michael. I mean, so I guess if the story is going to be her focusing on her as a single mom raising two boys, I'm not mad at that, but there is a big gap in the storytelling because she can't talk about the struggles that she's going through with her ex. Anyway, it's a new day. No, an hour later, all the ladies are dancing. Ashley jumps in the pool, and I think Wendy pushes Mia in the pool. I'm not sure. It's a new day, and the ladies are doing all the things, and we learn that it's also the last day. Hip hop, hooray! Oh, hey! Naka's husband is transitioning from traveling to be in Potomac more. That's great. And so Gizelle wants to talk to Kern. And so she wants to explain to Kern why she said no to her trip to Surrey. But she also, before she can get to that, she feels like Kern turns into a different person when she's around Wendy and Candace. And Gizelle wanted her to say that children are off limits. And Karen is like, this is getting old with y'all blaming me for being in the middle of y'all's trauma with each other. Like, how long is this going to be a factor for her? She was in the middle of the trauma when, in season 5. And then, it just goes on and on and on. They always got an issue with Kern for whatever reason. And I don't know what they want Kern to do. I guess they want Kern to be on their bandwagon and maybe icing some of these girls out. I really don't know, but it is getting old to me and it's getting old to Kern. And so Karen basically drops it to her straight. Like, girl, you had the same opportunity you trying to challenge me with to say something in that moment, and you chose not to. You are the one with the problem, so you need to be the one to address it, not me. Okay? Stop trying to put me in this and make me the scapegoat for what you are afraid to do. Period. Then somehow Gizelle turns that into Karen possibly talking about her when she's not around. And the producers, interestingly enough, try to show this clip of Kern indeed speaking negatively about Gizelle when she's not around. But Gizelle does the same thing. They just didn't show it. And I guess to me, it just kind of feels like sometimes with the way they try to play these flashbacks, like they never really showed Gizelle doing the things that she is claiming others are doing. And I don't know if you guys have noticed that. And I get it. Like, y'all want Gizelle to sort of be the hero in this story. I don't know if that's production or the network or what, but y'all got to start being real because the audience can see where the division is really kind of coming from. If the girls and the network really wants Gizelle to be this this face of the show, I feel like they try to keep pushing her, which I would be fine with it, but you got to accept what comes along with that. And oftentimes what comes along with that is like either trying to bring these girls together. Now, again, we could say that maybe that's not the role of the face of the show anymore, but it used to be, because nowadays you look at like Teresa, who is clearly the face of New Jersey, and she definitely ain't in no way, shape, or form a peacemaker, okay, amongst the girls. Okay, she is literally at the center of the division along with Melissa. Okay, both of them. It's tangoing with two. Okay, and so then you look at Kyle, and Kyle too is a bit, in my opinion, likes to gaslight us, the audience, and the girls. And I feel like she don't really ever take no responsibility or accountability. And I just don't feel like Kyle is very self-aware in how she also is a source of division amongst the girls and not necessarily corralling the people around together. Okay. So maybe that's just really not what they want the face of the show to be anymore. And maybe that's why I feel like there's a little bit of laziness that's going along with Potomac, because the girls are just doing whatever they want and trying to. I feel like there's been this like icing out, like we're in the iced out era, you know what I'm saying, on a lot of these shows. And I'm just not here for it no more. Meanwhile, somehow Karen ultimately tells Gizelle that she'll work on keeping the same energy all around, and they end up hugging it out, which I did like to see. Now, what I did not like was the Brandy and the Monica shade, okay? because Gizelle then says they're like Brandy and Monica, her and Karen. She was like, they love each other, but on camera and in the song, they don't get along. And she says that she is the Brandy to Karen's Monica because she has the better career. Are y'all Brandy and Monica? I'm fans of both of the ladies, to be honest with you. And I just kind of really hate that they're being put against each other like that, because to be quite honest with you, both of them have had very high highs and very low lows when it comes to what we know about them publicly. So that was very interesting. And I feel like to pit them two against each other is just kind of old, but maybe that's just me. I don't know why Monica had to catch a straight in all of this, but she did, and I just po Monica. Monica is by the way, on tour with the Nicki Minaj, so hopefully, when they come to the area, I can catch them if the tickets are still on sale. Meanwhile, they head to a castle for din or lunch or what, I don't know. Something for lunch, maybe, I think. And Robin does look amazing in this confessional. Was that blue or purple? I really don't know, but I was like, she looked really good right here. That's her look. Anyway, Karen is talking about her weight training, and Mia asked, when are they going to meet the trainer? And I'm like, can we not with the trainer storyline of it all? But the trainer storyline is taking a new turn for a minute. And that turn is that Ashley knows Vernon, the trainer. Vernon Davis, I guess he's an ex-football player. I'm really not familiar because y'all know me in the sports and stuff like that. I mean, So anyway, Ashley is friends with him, and there's a chuckle like there might be some more to it, but we will later learn that there was nothing more to it. Apparently, according to Candace, she got the impression that Ashley might have been trying to shoot her shot, and the man was basically blocking that ball, okay, from hitting that goal. Anyway, Karen is talking about how she's getting worked out and she wants to work on her inner thighs or something. I don't know. Anyway, Karen then brings up Gizelle confronting her about being different with Wendy and Candace, and that she is meaner when she's with the two of them. And Mia agrees. And it's so funny to me because in my mind, every instance that they tried to pull up of Karen was basically Karen also defending herself. Did we forget that at the end of last season, it was Mia that said that there was a rumor about Karen running around with some other guy? So as Karen is returning the serve, it's kind of like, how quickly we forget about that? That's so odd to me. But basically, Wendy feels like, Karen just holds the girls accountable. And Kiana feels like Gizelle and Candace have a deeper underlying issue. And somehow it comes up that Wendy and Gizelle were friends, and the flashback does show that they were friendly. And even though this is brought up, there's still no resolve. And this is what I meant when I talked about earlier in the in this review that we would be talking about some of these issues pointedly during this episode. And for me, I think that many of us, if you are a diehard fan of Potomac, when Wendy came on the scene and we saw her cozying up to Gizelle, I think we all knew at the end of the day that, again, this is whether you like Gizelle or not. Some people would argue that she's making the show go around, but I think we all knew at a certain point in time that was not going to work in Wendy's favor. And sure enough, the next season, it did not. So, I don't know. It's interesting to me. Do I think that I think that Wendy, to me, seems more open to a resolve with Gizelle than at least Candace does. And it also seems like Wendy is more open to a resolve with Gizelle than even Gizelle herself. So I don't really know at this point. It just feels, again, like we're still at this stalemate. The girls then are divided up into groups. Candace, Karen, Wendy, and Mia all head out to play tennis. Mia reveals that she used to put her feet on the men's chesticles. I don't know how this came up. I guess it was because she was wearing heels on the tennis court. Wendy dubs her Socrates because she always has a new story to tell. Mia wants to know what the girls think about Ashley's divorce. And, I think I heard the word gold digger being thrown around. Mia reveals that she kind of feels like Ashley and her marriage was all about the Benjamins. And when she realized that prenup wasn't cutting it, she had to go back in for round 2. Okay. Now I would think that most of the girls probably assume the same thing, although Candace does bring up that Ashley has some trauma from, her father, and feeling abandoned and potentially feeling that same way all over again with Michael. Wendy is a child of the divorce, so she is very empathetic to this, and Karen herself has been through a divorce, so she is also empathetic. Whereas Mia has been through something similar to this, but Mia took whatever $100 bill she had in her pocket and she kept on trucking because Mia she know how to make that money back. Okay. Mia's a hustler, I think, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that I feel like Mia gonna get to the bag. That's just that's just the way it's coming across to me. Wendy does say something poignant though, which is that everybody wants to get to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Meaning Ashley wants to get to the end of the road, but she ain't willing to go through the what it's gonna take to get there. Okay. Meanwhile, Gizelle, Robin, Ashley, Naka, and Kiana go skeet shooting, and Gizelle asks how Kiana feels about being on the girls' trip. She's grateful. She's having a good time, and she's wanted to get to know everybody one on the one. And Robin wonders if Wendy told her about anybody in advance, and Kiana's like, no, but she knew that there was some shade between Wendy and Gizelle, but she never said that she didn't like Gizelle. They get into the cultural significance of the argumentation between Wendy and Aneka, and Kiana feels like, well, Wendy was offended by Naka calling her mama a witch. Okay. Naka feels like Kiana is stirring the pot, and Kiana's like, girl, that pot has been stewed, filleted, fried, chopped, screwed, and all kinds of things. And we don't want this pot of stew no more. Okay. We don't want it. Send it back, throw it away, put it in the trash can, give it away. You know what I'm saying? Flush it down the toilet, flush it down the garbage disposal, get rid of it. End of season. So anyway, Kiana can at least hold her own. Gizelle then wants to tea on Vernon from Ashley, who gets to run it. Later, Ashley is on FaceTime with the kids. And when the phone turns on to Michael, he turns off the camera. And she's like, put my kids back in the view. And we learn later on in the confessional that according to Ashley, Michael says that if he is put on camera again, he will sue her. He trying to sue everybody. I mean, allegedly, I don't know. It sounds like, he was definitely trying to sue Candace. He might be suing Ashley per Ashley's words. You know what I'm saying? That man said, y'all not going to mess with me no more. Okay, I got the coin and I ain't afraid to use them. All right? You better leave me alone. So anyway, it's time for Din Din, and the final night, everybody looks really, really good. Everybody. Ashley, Naka, Kiana, Gizelle, Mia, everybody is looking amazing. They recap the activities, and Candace tells the group that they were talking about Ashley's divorce down to the tennis court. Wendy then announces to the group and to Ashley that Mia was in the position of, well, Ashley, you're a gold digger. Okay. Mia's like, I did. Yes. That's what I do like about Mia. I mean, regardless of whether or not she's getting some drama started and she's talking about somebody behind their back, when it comes up again, she will say it. I did. Okay. Now, whether it be, whether she remembered it the way she did it or not, she at least is she gonna own it. Okay. Whatever she said, whether it was true or not. So anyway, Ashley's like, well, she thinks that Ashley not going through with the divorce right now because she married Michael for his money. And Ashley's like, well, did you marry Gordon for his? And Mia's like, well, I might have. I don't know, girl. Who knows? I don't know what I was thinking about 10 years ago. Anyway, the group is like, well, they know that she didn't because a couple of nights ago, Mia has said basically that she had more money than Gordon. And Mia then also says, well, she's not the one getting a divorce. Spoiler alert. Looks like you are. Anyway, Ashley's like, well, you contemplated it. And Mia thinks that Ashley just needs to be honest with herself. I appreciated this level of conversation because while there was shade being thrown, I feel like with Mia, at least you never feel like it goes to, well, I don't know, in this season, because last season she did throw a drink. So we don't think we didn't like that. But I feel like she's learned to kind of curb that level of shade and throwing darts. But we'll see when Jacqueline shows up next week. Anyway, you know, Ashley's using the credit card or whatever. Michael is contributing to her car note and things of that nature. And, you know, I wonder what would happen if she wasn't on this show. Would she be getting more of a stipend? You know, because then he's not at risk for appearing on the network or whatever, but then she'd be out of a job. So what he gonna do? What's she gonna do? Is she gonna have to go to, I mean, is she gonna have to, like, what's she gonna do? I guess at this point in time, she could probably be an influencer on social media. You know what I'm saying? Because she's got the fame and the notoriety. So I guess I wouldn't worry about her too much. But I don't know. And she could probably go to one of them summer house shows. Y'all know the summer house. I feel like Ashley would be perfect for one of those shows, or the Traders or something like that. You know, Bravo always cooking up something, or the NBC Universal always cooking up something. Anyway, Gizelle then brings up Vernon, and Robin wants to know, well, Karen, why are you being trained somebody who's not a fitness trainer? And Karen's like, girl, why are you so upset? Why do you even want to know anything about me? You don't even like me. So it's like, girl, just why? I mean, listen, Robin, just sit there and be glad nobody is bringing up Juan, okay? Because at the end of the day, it's like, you know, Karen is like, I'm in good shape for 60. And Robin's like, well, you're in shape or you got heart problems. Which is it? You know, it can be both. It can be both. Because at the end of the day, there are plenty of people out there who have high blood pressure, especially in the Black community, who also still work out. Okay. There are plenty of people who have issues and they still work out because they want to be better. Right. So can it not be that she is working out with someone who she trusts, who may not happen to be a trainer? I have worked out with people before in my life who were not necessarily trainers, but who had a great body, who could help me get to my goals. Now, am I doing that now? No. But at the end of the day, again, it's like one of those types of situations. It's much ado about nothing. Like when you're trying to make fetch happen out of nothing, girl. Like, just be glad ain't nobody talking about you. It just bothers me because I just feel like it's like the continuous trying to, you know, ride Karen for something. And it's like, girl, like Karen does what she always does, is she talks in 55 different directions. We'll say 60 because that's the age she is at this point. And she goes into a confusing carousel of a monologue that I don't understand. She, again, is a riddle wrapped in an enigma. Okay. And we will never figure it out. And at the end of the day, it works for Karen because she talks in circles and she actually just out-talks them. So I did notice as Robin is trying to go in on Karen, Gizelle is over there snickering and cackling. Now, isn't this a far cry from the woman who was basically telling Karen, well, you didn't have my back. You changed when you were around Wendy and Candace. Might it be, Gizelle, that you change when you are around the Fox 4, or when you get around Robin, your backup, your bodyguard? Might you not be doing the exact same thing? Might you not be putting off on her what you yourself are doing? Anyway, the joke basically turns into chaos with Karen and her shenanigans. And I mean, to be honest with you guys, that's just that. So there you have it. I mean, listen, that's the episode. If you guys, what did you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys are diving into our sponsor for today, which is Fume. Make sure to tap into the link in the description of this video. It's tryfum.com/DJRichieSkye. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next video.